My dad always seemed like the perfect father, the perfect husband. He and my mom were high school sweethearts, the kind of couple everyone envied. They built a life together, a family, a home filled with what I thought was love and trust. That's why, when he suggested a father-daughter trip to the mountains just before my 21st birthday, I was thrilled. It felt like a chance to reconnect, just the two of us, before I officially stepped into adulthood. Little did I know, this trip would shatter the perfect image I had of him and my family forever. The first few days were amazing. We hiked scenic trails, told stories by the fireplace in our cozy cabin, and laughed more than we had in years. He was the dad I always adored, funny, attentive, and wise. He kept talking about how proud he was of me, how much he loved my mom, and how blessed he felt. I soaked it all in, feeling grateful for this idyllic getaway. On our last night, he said he needed to make a quick trip to the nearby town to pick up a surprise for my birthday. He seemed a little jittery, but I just chalked it up to excitement. He was gone for a few hours, and I started to get a little bored. I decided to use his laptop to look up some photos from our hike. It was an old habit. We always shared our pictures right away. The laptop was open on the coffee table, and as I moved the mouse, an email notification popped up on the screen. The sender's name was just a single initial, K. The subject line made my heart stop. Can't wait to see you again. My hands started shaking. It had to be a mistake, right? Maybe it was a work thing, a client, but curiosity. A terrible, sinking curiosity got the better of me. I clicked on it. The email was short, but the words burned into my memory. It spoke of secret meetings, of longing, and of a next time that wasn't about a business deal. It was signed, "All my love, K." My blood ran cold. I scrolled through his inbox, my hands trembling so much I could barely control the mouse. And there it was, an entire hidden world. Emails, dozens of them, stretching back over a year. They painted a picture of a passionate, long-term affair. This K wasn't just a fling. She was a whole other life my dad was living. They had their own jokes, their own pet names, their own memories. They had even been on trips together, disguised as business conferences. I saw pictures of them, smiling, holding each other, looking as happy as my parents ever did. One email detailed their plans to meet up later that very night. His quick trip to town wasn't for my birthday surprise. It was for her. I felt like I couldn't breathe. The walls of the cabin seemed to be closing in on me. Every memory, every laugh, every I love you from the past few days felt like a lie. Was any of it real? Was my entire childhood a lie? I felt a wave of nausea and stumbled to the bathroom, splashing cold water on my face, trying to make sense of the betrayal. This wasn't just about my mom. He had lied to me too. He had used this precious time with me as a cover. When he came back, he was all smiles, holding a small, wrapped box. "Happy early birthday, sweetheart," he said, his voice cheerful. I couldn't look him in the eye. I just stared at the box, my mind racing. How could he stand there, acting like nothing was wrong? I mumbled a thank you, my voice hollow. I felt like a stranger in my own skin, an actress in a terrible play. He must have noticed my mood shift because his smile faltered. "Everything okay? You look pale." I couldn't hold it in any longer. The words just tumbled out. "Who is K?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. The color drained from his face. He looked like he'd been struck by lightning. For a moment, he was completely silent, his mouth opening and closing with no sound coming out. The denial came first. "I don't know what you're talking about, K. Is that one of your friends?" But his eyes told a different story. They were filled with panic. "Don't lie to me," I said, my voice gaining strength, fueled by a mix of anger and heartbreak. "I saw the emails, Dad. I saw the pictures. Your trip to town, it wasn't for me, was it?" The dam broke. He slumped onto the sofa, burying his face in his hands. The confession that followed was agonizing, filled with pathetic excuses and pleas for me to understand. He tried to explain it away, saying he and my mom had grown apart, that he was unhappy, but none of it mattered. All I heard was the sound of my family breaking. He begged me not to tell my mom. He said it would destroy her. The irony was suffocating. He was worried about destroying her, yet he was the one holding the hammer. He was asking me, his daughter, to carry the weight of his secret, to live a lie alongside him, to look my mom in the eye every day and pretend that her world wasn't a complete fabrication. He put me in an impossible position. The car ride home was the longest 8 hours of my life. We sat in complete, suffocating silence. The man next to me was no longer my hero. He was a stranger. The trust, the admiration, the unconditional love I had for him, it had all evaporated in that cabin. When we got home, my mom greeted us at the door, her face lit up with a smile, asking all about our trip. I just broke down in her arms, sobbing uncontrollably. At that moment, I knew I couldn't protect him. My mom deserved the truth, no matter how much it hurt. Telling her was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. Seeing the light go out of her eyes, watching her perfect world crumble because of the words coming out of my mouth, it's a memory that will haunt me forever. Their marriage ended, of course. The house was sold. Our family, as I knew it, ceased to exist. It's been a few years now, and the pieces are slowly being put back together, but in a completely new shape. My mom is resilient. She's rebuilding her life, and I admire her strength more than words can say. My relationship with my dad is complicated. It's strained. We talk, but it's not the same. The easy laughter and deep trust are gone, replaced by a permanent scar of his betrayal. That trip to the mountains was supposed to be a celebration of me entering adulthood. Instead, it was a brutal lesson that sometimes the people you love the most can hurt you the deepest, and that nothing is ever as perfect as it seems. Discovering that secret changed everything. It forced me to grow up faster than I ever expected, and it taught me the painful cost of lies. Thank you so much for listening to my story. It wasn't easy to share, but I hope it can resonate with someone out there. If you have a story of your own, feel free to share it in the comments. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more true stories. See you next time.